there's things I don't like. I don't like this idea that Christians, we kind of compartmentalize. So with apologetics and theology, we put it in one box. With race, we put it in another box. When there's black people talking about like real important issues about race, the Christian folks, generally conservative, say, hey, don't talk about race, don't make it about race, don't do this about race. If there's a black dude among a panel of white dudes, at least this is just something I've seen, but I've seen these kind of strange underhanded remarks. It was like Inspiring Philosophy, David Wood's Act 17 Apologetics. I'm not sure if he, what is it, Apologetics Roadshow Underground. I'm not sure. He's had a few name changes. It was another guy. It was like two other guys, and there was a black individual. He was I want to say maybe a rising star in theology. You know, not like super big, but he's like, you know, big in the YouTube space. And I don't think he had as big of a channel. I'm not entirely sure. He was there for a reason, probably because he had some notable views on his YouTube channel. But one of the things I noticed was really weird was that they started making jokes about him being black. And I thought, like, that's bizarre. Why are they doing this? Especially, I was shocked by Inspiring Philosophy because I'm like, why is he doing that? Isn't he like analytical and smart? But one thing I could tell, I mean, he's a little socially awkward. I'm socially awkward. I'm not. That's something I can't take away from him. But like, I don't think I've ever went as far as be like, oh, you're white. Dang, what you gonna do? Shoot up a school? Dang, because that'd be awkward, right? Awkward to tell somebody that. But I've experienced some strange interactions involving race that weren't even really important. I've been like the sounding board for a white dude pitching his frustrations at the proverbial black dude. I've been that black dude before. I've even experienced people just ask me, hey, what do you think about black issues? They didn't ask my name or nothing, or maybe they asked it and then they just, I'm like, just, is that normal for a regular white guy to ask another white guy, what do you think about white issues? What do you think about white nationalism? What do you think about I don't know, white European history? You don't, because he's a regular dude. So my thing is, if you want to know what a black dude is thinking about from his cultural context, you wait for him to actually bring that up. You wait for him to bring it up. You're going to have some opportunities to bring it up. And if he feels comfortable with you, he's going to open his world up to you so you can know more about it. But it's your responsibility to hold that information with some form of responsible delicacy. Because when you bring up information about another group, you are that representative of your group bringing this new information. So they're going to take what you say as gospel. So if you say, hey, my black friend said black dudes eat mangoes and coconuts, then they're going to be like, oh, okay, I guess black dudes, I mean, he got a black friend, so they eat mangoes and coconuts. But if they say, no, actually, well, if you know the history, we eat mangoes and coconuts because we got marooned on an island, and so our culture only found mangoes and coconuts. So we celebrate by eating mangoes and coconuts on Sundays and Tuesdays, because those were the times where we could have the most harvest, or something like that. Then it's like, okay, this is a cultural moment where you can have a cultural exchange. So but the thing is, you don't just throw in there, hey, what about your culture, man? Because that's weird. I don't think too many white dudes have a awkward moment of being white, where the only times I've noticed it is if they're a minority in a community, which can mean if they were in a predominantly non-white community and they were kind of pointed out, exposed to be that only white guy, maybe been into another country, being exposed to be the only blonde hair, blue eyed, pale skinned person, and I'm being kind of like a little facetious, not really facetious, but more so just like a white person generally when you see them. Maybe it's brunette, maybe it's black, maybe it's brown, you know, maybe it's brown hair, brunette. You get it. They're white. Generally, like I've heard from white people, they're a mutt. They're mixed with all types of European, this, that, and the third. But that's just it. I don't think white people have really had to deal with the difficulties or the awkwardness or pointing out you being white. So, being a minority, another issue with being a minority is almost like you have to be the spokesperson. Now, I understand where it's coming from. Sometimes it's curiosity. But black people, and this again, this is something that's probably uniquely to a minority, is they don't have to, as a white person, you likely won't have to represent your entire race. You just won't. Your race is already doing it. Society's doing it. Media is doing it. There's the whole structure of media positive influence for the white image. You don't have to do the heavy lifting of saying, okay, I can't smoke, I can't be silly, or I can't not chill out around my white people or white society because they might view me as a criminal, you know, or I can't speak for Asians, but I feel like to some degree even Asians get this, but I don't think they care enough, which is unfortunate because I think they should. Otherwise, they would get less. I think they would just get less harassment if they spoke up more about Asian issues. And this is something I think the same thing for the Latino community too. If they spoke up more and they start charging people to be more aware of who they are and not just say, hey, it's just all jokes and whatever, I think they would be better off in this ICE thing. This, because I heard a dude thought Trump was just going to take care of all the criminals, you know. And I knew when I seen that, oh, he's going against Latinos. He doesn't see the difference between Latinos, the good Latinos and the bad Latinos. He doesn't care. He just says, you guys are Latinos. And my guess, I've talked to a few, some say their culture's heavily involved. They got a thick skin and they like joking around. So, but for them, they differentiate themselves. They say, again, same thing with black people. We differentiate ourselves. Just like, which is so ironic about The Office. The Office has Steve Carell's character, Michael Scott, mention a special from, I believe it was Chris Rock's special. And he says, there's a difference between black people. There are black people, and then he says the N-word. Then there's the N-word. In that, you think he was thinking about black people understanding a personal differentiation within our community and saying, hey, there's good parts of the good people of us, and there's the people that's out here wilding out, you know, the white ends, you know, as they say today. No, he was just saying, oh, I get to say this naughty word, and I'm so wacky, I'm so crazy, I'm doing all the stuff I shouldn't do, ha ha ha. It's just like, it's ridiculous. But that's, so I'm still ranting. I think that's pretty much, I'm done. I'm not done, but I'm pretty much done. If you really want to get to the bottom of black issues, understand that what we need is some understanding. What we need is to have further communication. What we need is some patience and some trust, and to be understood and to be respected. I think that's another thing, to be just generally respected better. Because I think if you don't respect somebody, you won't care about what they have to say. And I think that's a big thing in American society. I just don't think we're respected, where our opinions matter, but we're seen as a nuisance because we have to keep checking folks for being ignorant. That when we see a politician wilding out, acting crazy, and we learned 10 years ago they had blackface, which is so weird. That's wow. The most I could ever put on one hand a person of blackface versus minstrelsies, which is historical, probably tens of thousands or tens of hundreds of white people putting tar on their face or something like that and pretending they're black. And I don't mean those outside abroad studies was probably one. That was Dave Chappelle, maybe 2 or 3. And Dave Chappelle was on the nose, like a seal, on the nose with his racial commentary. You knew it was Dave Chappelle. It was jokes. So my thing is just like, his jokes was something that everybody enjoyed. But the thing is, especially during the stages of post-slavery, and folks now saying, we don't really want to care about how you are. We just want to just marvel at how funny your dances are. Like, just think of the context with that. Just think about the context. That's like if you were in a boys club and then you danced around and said, I'm a boy, you're a boy, then that's redundant. Of course, whatever, But let's say you were in a predominantly girl space and you said, I'm a boy, that would pop out more. It's not redundant, it's novel. So the same thing is with the Dave Chappelle show. We all know about whiteness. It's just with Dave Chappelle's comedy, because he's a comedian too. He pointed out racial interest differences and how we perceive ourselves in strange ways. He did that from a comedic perspective, which again clashed with the American culture that eventually kind of flipped back on itself, because yes, it was interesting commentary, but eventually he had to stop because they were trying to make his show a caricature, just making fun of, I don't even know. But it's like, when people are laughing with you in a joke that's like, oh, that's a funny thing. And it's like, now they're laughing at you because you're doing goofy things. Oh, go, black dude, do the funny thing you did. And yes, anybody could have done that. The Sweet Cherry Pie dude has been celebrity-fied and been the one-trick pony. Do the thing. Do the thing we know you for. But the thing is, just like, these realms, they bleed into each other. The racial perspectives about our stereotypes and how celebrity kind of just treats you like an object, like an object of entertainment. So it makes sense why he bailed after that, because regardless of all the money and all the other stuff, it was like buying you. It was like, eventually, I'm glad he kind of left. And yeah, he left a long time. It was a long time. But it was almost like they were trying to buy him so that he could be an excuse for blackness to be commodified and made into a joke. It was already happening in hip hop, which is the reason why I don't understand why Drake, of all people, was being blamed for it when other people were commodifying hip hop. Black Americans, not just Canadians, and not just the individuals from Judaism, not just them. Some of these black folks were just shucking and jiving, just like the folks over there, wanting to be accepted and well known as the celebrity at the time. There were black minstrels, black people who were playing black people in minstrels. Isn't that strange? But some of them were doing that. So yeah, this stuff gets very complicated, and at the end of the day, I think black people just want to be understood. I think, and I don't even want to bring it up. At the end of the day, sometimes a joke has to be clearly understood, and if it's not, it could cause irreparable harm and damage to somebody's image, social image. And we know what that's like, because white dudes are scared of their social image being played with. Why do you think they push back so hard at small things? When they call white dudes colonizer, they push back on that excessively, because they know if people just call you something, they're gonna keep calling you that thing. Why? Because they've been doing it with us, so they know what that's like. So this idea of like white people fearing, retaliation, is strange, because it feels like they understand, but they don't like it being done to them. So yeah, and I hope you understand. Obviously, that's not every white person, because there's folks with some sense, but doesn't seem to be the popular consensus, unfortunately.